At the top of noon, once again, a very warm welcome. Hello, I'm Anusha Soni. Our top focus this hour. An interesting statement coming in from Suvendu Adhikari, and this is about the newly formed CAA. And it's a massive claim by Bengal BJP leader Suvendu Adhikari on the Citizenship Amendment Act, the rules that are yet to be framed. But he says that CAA implementation has already begun. Mr. Adhikari goes on to say that the implementation of CAA has already begun. It will soon be implemented in Bengal. Since it's a part of India, the act has already been passed by both houses of the parliament. We were waiting for this to happen so that the rules must have been framed already. The same rules will allow the Matwas and the Namasudra communities who were earlier asked to produce the pre-1971 documents for visas, permits and job clearances. They will no longer have the problem. Now that this has been implemented in Gujarat, the government of India must have already framed the rules. So this will now be implemented in West Bengal. So we'll try and get more context to this. But first, playing out that reaction of Suvendu Adhikari.
CAA তো ইমপ্লিমেন্টেশন স্টার্ট হয়ে গেল, তা ভারতবর্ষের পার্ট পশ্চিমবঙ্গ হয়ে যাবে আর কি। তো CAA আইন তো দুটো সদনেই পাস করা আছে, এইটা আমরা ওয়েট করছিলাম যে নিশ্চয়ই রুল তাহলে হয়ে গেছে। এই একই রুলে পশ্চিমবঙ্গের মতুয়া সমাজ, নমশূদ্র সমাজ যারা ভিসা করতে গেলে, পারমিট করতে গেলে, চাকরির ভিআরে আপনার ক্লিয়ারেন্স নিতে গেলে বলা হয় ৭১-এর আগে দলিল আনো, আর সে সমস্যা থাকলো না। গুজরাটে যখন ইমপ্লিমেন্ট হয়ে গেছে নিশ্চয়ই রুল ফ্রেম করে ফেলেছে ভারত সরকার, আইন তো আগেই হয়ে গেছিল, পশ্চিমবঙ্গেও চালু হয়ে গেল।
So that's the statement coming in from Suvendu Adhikari. Now, you would know that the Citizenship Amendment Act was already passed by both houses of the parliament. There were widespread protests that were witnessed across the country. And somewhere in that resistance, there's also perhaps a second thought that came to the government. But the act stands as it is. It has been challenged in the Supreme Court of India, but not done away with. But at the same time, the rules of the act are yet to be framed. Because the rules have not been framed, that means the act has not been implemented per se on the ground. The hope is it will be implemented very, very soon. There are 3 to 4 sections of the Citizenship Amendment, the Citizenship Act, the Parent Act, which have been amended by the government of the day. In a recent affidavit that was submitted in the Supreme Court of India, the government reiterated its position that the CAA does not take away the right of any community which is living in India. The purpose of this amendment is merely to give some form of room to the persecuted minorities in the neighboring countries. The government says that this is a justified, reasonable distinction that has been made by the government of India on the basis of the persecution that has been witnessed in the neighboring states of, say, Pakistan or Bangladesh, and especially when it comes to Hindus, Buddhists, Sikhs, Jains, these minorities who have faced repeated attacks. According to the government of India, this is a classification that they're allowed to make under, Part 3 of the Indian Constitution, which is Article 15, which allows them to make these kind of distinction. Now, the criticism that has come in of the CAA Act is that it somewhere draws a distinction based on religion. These were the arguments that have been advanced before the Supreme Court through a petition as well. However, CAA is a valid law of the land. It has not been turned aside by any court of the country, and that battle still has to be fought out legally. Now, there are various communities living in India who, for the lack of papers or because of some reasons, have not been able to get their documentation of visa papers. I want to cut across to my colleague Shogato Mukhopadhyay, who is with us on the broadcast. Shogato, help us understand this statement of Suvendu Adhikari. What does it really mean?
Well, Suvendu Adhikari is clearly under the impression that the amended Citizenship Act, which is the CAA, which has not yet been enforced on account of the fact that the rules have not been framed, despite the fact that the act has been passed in both houses of the parliament. He is under the impression that the rules have now been framed, and that's the reason why the parts of Gujarat have now come under the purview of the CAA. At least that's what he believes. It seems to be a misunderstanding on his part, because we do know that the two districts the collectors of which have been given empowered to give citizenship to minority community members residing in those areas from neighboring countries is clearly based on the old Act of 1955.
That's right.
And not the amended Act. However, Suvendu Adhikari made that statement yesterday in Kolkata, and having said that, he had also gone on to say that it's only now a matter of time that the CAA would now be implemented in Bengal. Obviously, this has met with political repercussions, not just from the opposition parties, especially the TRINAMOL Congress, but also from within the BJP here in Bengal. Talking about the opposition parties, the TRINAMOL Congress has lashed out at Suvendu Adhikari, stating that he is misguiding the people of Bengal by giving out wrong information, and there is no possibility of the implementation of CAA here or in any part of the country anytime soon.
Till the rules are
talking
really
about
framed. Till the rules are really framed. Shaukato, there are two communities he mentions in that statement, the Matuas and the Namasudras. Could you tell us a little bit more about these communities and the politics around these communities, and how exactly is it related to CAA? I'll come back to you. Before that, Dilip Ghosh is joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Ghosh, thank you so much for speaking to us. As far as I understand, the legal position is that the rules have not been framed of the CAA, though it's a law passed by both houses of parliament. Is Mr. Suvendu Adhikari under some wrong impression?
देखिए, सीए तो कानून बना है, लेकिन रूल अभी बना नहीं है
जी।
उनका मिलेगा तो बनेगा, और विशेष करके बंगाल में जो बांग्लादेश से आए हुए लाखों शरणार्थी हैं उनको नागरिकता मिलेगा। अभी गुजरात में जो प्रक्रिया शुरू हुई है, इसके पहले भी हुआ है। बांग्लादेश से आए हुए जो शरणार्थी, जो रिफ्यूजी गुजरात में, राजस्थान में स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ने अपने अधिकार से कानून बनाकर उनको नागरिकता दिया था। बाद में फिर जो लोग आए उनके लिए प्रोसेस बन रहा है, और इसीलिए केवल वो स्टेट का सरकार ही कर रहा है। आगे चल करके मुझे लगता है कि सीए भी इम्प्लीमेंट हो जाएगा तो बाकी देश में जो लोग हैं उन सबको ये सुविधा मिलेगा।
नहीं, जो आप बोल रहे हैं बात दिलीप जी, वो बिल्कुल ठीक है, मगर मेरा सवाल ये है कि सुवेंदु जी तो इस तरह से बात कर रहे हैं जैसे कि सीए के रूल्स जो हैं वो ऑलरेडी फ्रेम हो चुके हैं और देश में लागू हो चुके हैं, तो कहीं ना कहीं एक कंफ्यूजन की पूरी स्थिति पैदा हो जाती है उनके इस पूरे बयान से।
नहीं, लागू होने का वातावरण बन रहा है, लेकिन अभी तक बना नहीं है। ये तो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट का जो अधिकार क्षेत्र में आता है उनसे ये किया जा रहा है, एक ही स्टेट में। बाकी स्टेट गवर्नमेंट कर सकते हैं, लेकिन जब रूल बन जाएगा सीए का, पूरा देश में लागू हो जाएगा।
तो आप कहीं ना कहीं सुवेंदु अधिकारी के स्टेटमेंट को क्लैरिफाई कर रहे हैं दिलीप जी?
नहीं, क्लैरिफाई नहीं है, उनका जो कहना है कि वहाँ तो बन रहा है, अभी यहाँ भी बनना चाहिए। हम भी चाहते हैं कि यहाँ बने, यहाँ की सरकार चाहेगी तो बन जाएगी, लेकिन अभी तो सीए का रूल बना नहीं है।
हाँ, तो आपकी और उनके स्टेटमेंट में यही अंतर है दिलीप जी, क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं सुवेंदु जी ये कह रहे हैं कि जो रूल्स बन गए हैं बहुत जल्दी वो फ्रेम भी हो जाएंगे, वेस्ट बंगाल में लागू भी हो जाएंगे, तो कहीं ना कहीं एक इंप्रेशन ऐसा जाता है कि जो रूल्स है वो नोटिफाई हो चुके हैं, मगर उनका नोटिफिकेशन
बन जाएगा तो सरकार घोषणा कर देगी। अभी घोषणा नहीं की है।
बिल्कुल ठीक बोल रहे हैं आप, घोषणा कर देगी जी, घोषणा कर देगी। अगर बंगाल में जो कम्युनिटीज हैं, जिन कम्युनिटीज की आप बात कर रहे हैं या उन शरणार्थियों की बात कर रहे हैं जो बांग्लादेश से आए हैं, उनके लिए आपकी किस तरह की मांगे हैं राज्य सरकार से, क्योंकि आपने गुजरात का भी उदाहरण दिया अभी?
देखिए, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने कानून पास कराया, एक्ट बन गया है, तो उसका इम्प्लीमेंट करना है। उसके लिए अनुकूल वातावरण चाहिए देश में। पिछले 2 साल से 2.5 साल से कोरोना का मार मिला, जैसा कि बिल पास हुआ तो कोरोना का महामारी आ गया, इसलिए सारा एक्टिविटी बंद हो गया है। और यहाँ भी काफी विरोध हुआ। यहाँ की सरकार, जहाँ जो लोग डिमांड कर रहे हैं लागू करो, वो विरोध कर रहे हैं। इसलिए ये जो कानून है पूरा देश भर के लिए है, इसको लागू करने के लिए एक वातावरण चाहिए, सहयोग भी चाहिए, तो उसका इंतजार है। मुझे लगता है कि आज या कल वातावरण बनेगा, जैसे कि बहुत सारा बड़ा बड़ा काम हो गया, ये भी हो जाएगा। और जिन लोगों का वोट से जीत के इन लोगों ने सरकार चला है, उनका नागरिकता का विरोध कर रहे हैं, ये नहीं होना चाहिए। केंद्र सरकार इस मामले में पूरा एकदम कटिबद्ध है, इसको करना है, इसलिए कानून पास कराया। 75 साल लगा उसके लिए, और 1 साल में वो बन जाएगा। मुझे लगता है उसका वातावरण भी इसका प्रेशराइज करेगा कि वो बंगाल में करोड़ों लोगों को इसका लाभ मिलेगा।
जी, मटुआ कम्युनिटी की बात की है सुवेंदु जी ने, और मटुआ कम्युनिटी कहीं ना कहीं,
अरे मटुआ नहीं है, मटुआ कम्युनिटी छोड़कर भी जी पूर्व बंगला से, जो बांग्लादेश है, वहाँ से और भी लाखों लोग आए हैं जो दूसरे कम्युनिटी के लोग हैं, जो रिफ्यूजी हैं, वो पीढ़ी दर पीढ़ी रह रहे हैं, लेकिन उनका कानूनी सिटीजनशिप नहीं है। वो देने के लिए अभी मोदी सरकार ने प्रयास कर रही है।
दिलीप घोष जी, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया हमसे बात करने के लिए, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया अपना समय देने के लिए. I want to cut across back to Shaugato Mukhopadhyay, who's with us on the broadcast. So, Shaugato, as you rightly pointed out, Suvendu Adhikari's statement prima facie seems to create some confusion, but Mr. Dilip Ghosh is clarifying that the rules are yet to be notified. There is no announcement that has come from the union government, and it's at best perhaps only a hope that Mr. Adhikari or anybody else can express at this point in time.
That's true, and but Suvendu Adhikari's statement yesterday that he made before the media persons was not exactly on those lines. He was pretty confident that the rules have already been framed, and that's the reason why parts of Gujarat has now come under the purview of CAA. And he said that since Bengal is also part of India, it is the CAA. It's only now a matter of time that the amended act would be implemented here in Bengal as well. And Mathuas and other Namashudra communities in Bengal would be given the benefit of the Citizenship Amendment Act. The MLA of the party of the BJP from Haringhata in Nadia, which is an area which is also dominated by the Mathua community. Ashim Sarkar had, however, yesterday also said that if the center is trying to implement citizenship here in Bengal, or rather in the country, why is it doing under the guidance of the old 1955 Act and not the amended Act of 2019? As a result, there was already confusion, not just from the opposition, but also from within the party itself. Ashim Sarkar went ahead to say that the amended Act, it is on account of the amended Act that so much of political ruckus have taken place, not just here in Bengal, but across the whole country. And if the center is serious
Shaugato,
about
allow me a moment. I want to go